Hello everyone and welcome to the tabletop, where we are going to take a look at the Marvel Teen Spirit set for Unmatched. Yes, we got this. I ordered this from Restoration and it just came in today. Usually ordering from Restoration is the quickest way to get the sets in when people like Barnes & Nobles don't break the street date. Barnes & Nobles, what are we going to do to you guys? But yeah, hello there, Snuggles. Yes. You've got a space in the middle of your name here on YouTube, and it kind of threw me. And it took me a minute to figure out what that said. I'm like, what? Snug Giles? Snug Glass? What? Oh, okay. Yeah, so we got this. And before we open it, because this is still wrapped up in the seal here, I haven't taken a look at this at all. You see all of the nice art on the front, which we've seen a lot of. We can see the three sets of fighters, although this is two fighters, so four fighters, I guess. All right, we have Squirrel Girl, has all of her squirrels, Ms. Marvel, and Cloak and Dagger. Yes, that's Cloak creeping around in the background there. That guy. Teleporters, what are you going to do, man? Yes, and of course we can see some artwork on the sides. We get some Ms. Marvel, or I'm sorry, Squirrel Girl, rather. There's Dagger, Ms. Marvel, and probably Cloak on top. Yeah, Cloak. That's how they figured out how to do it there, with four of them in this set and four sides. The other Marvel ones having three in them was a little bit harder. And in the back, we get to see all this nice stuff here. We get to see a little bit of the map. We'll be bringing that map out and showing you a little bit more of that. And we'll show you these, but this is what we're used to seeing on all these. Just a Restoration logo on here. Well, Restoration and Marvel. No any other company involved with them on it. If you ordered it from Restoration, you also got these little guys here, these foils. Let's take a look at foil. It's aluminum foil. Okay. Get out of there. All right. I'm going to show you what we got with these. Here's Cloak and Dagger. That's what their card back looks like. But we can see here the foil has this nice little, and you can see all the little lines on it. They are doing a little shimmery things there when we get into the light. Yeah. Okay. Squirrel Girl has like all of the outlines of the hand there of the artwork, as well as the glasses on tippy toe there. If we can get that, yeah, we can get that. Shows up a little bit there. This one's, yeah, there we go. This one's a little harder to get to show up there. I think I may have my volume just a smidge low, so I'm going to bring that up a bit there. There we go. We get all that. And Ms. Marvel, who's actually using the void behind her, although it's got some pattern stamped in it there, which is interesting. And that is what we have for the foil. Ooh, yeah, blind people with that. But yeah, they look really, really sharp there. So that's what we got going on with these foils. Let's take a look at the rest of this thing here. These can join the rest of my thing there. More specimens for my collection. All right. Let's see what we can get here. Ooh. I really am opening it this time. Not like the last one where I faked it. But that was for comedic effect. Let's go put you away before I do something with you. All right. There's that. All right. So little things about the other ones that are in production. Hell's Kitchen, Redemption Row, which are available right now. And all of them that are going to be available, Hell's Kitchen, Redemption Row, Teen Spirit. Just waiting for King and Country. They threw Deadpool on there, although he's pretty much out of print and hard to find. But yeah, we can see everything from all of those. Oh, here is our book here. Oh. Now there are a few new things in here that'll be going on with some of these to explain things. Dual Heroes. This is actually has a little bit of ramifications for other sets because this is going to apply retroactively back to the Raptors. So Raptors get a buff. Cloak and Dagger are a pair of fighters. Each fighter is a separate hero with their own separate health dial. If something affects a player's hero, you choose whether it affects Cloak or Dagger. The U in there is the Cloak and Dagger player. Get to choose which one of them it's affecting. When either Cloak or Dagger is defeated, remove them from the board like any other fighter. However, you only lose the game if both are defeated. So that's an important new thing there for this one. We're also going to have her squirrels here for Squirrel Girl, which are going to be the small fighters. First of all, this is going to talk about summoning, which is largely going to play like Sun Wukong, although there's one thing we're going to mention here. Squirrel Girl sidekicks or squirrels do not place any squirrels at the start of the game. At the start of each of your turns, you may summon a squirrel following these summoning rules. If you have any squirrel tokens off the board, place one squirrel in an empty space adjacent to Squirrel Girl. If all of your squirrel tokens are on the board, take a squirrel from the board and place it on an empty space adjacent to Squirrel Girl. We're going to see in here that there are cards that allow different placement there. The empty space adjacent this came from copying a little too closely out of Wukong's effect for summoning, because squirrels don't have to be on empty spaces, because as we'll see down here, they can be in spaces with other ones. So it is going to work a little bit differently. They have clarified for us because it became a little bit too unclear on here. All right, so they're small fighters. Only things that are marked as small fighters are small fighters. So like Alice is not a small fighter, even though she goes small. Little Red is not a small fighter just because her mini's smaller than everyone else's. Opposing fighters may move through them. They move through opposing fighters. Small fighter may share space with another fighter, including opposing fighters. Small fighters are considered adjacent to spaces they are in and to fighters that share space with them. And so small fighters may attack an opposing fighter in their space and vice versa. Up to 4 small fighters may share the same space, in addition to any other fighter. And if a small fighter takes damage, all small fighters of the same type in that space take an equal amount of damage. So if a squirrel takes any damage, it and all other squirrels in its space are defeated. So stacking those squirrels can be a little scary. All right, here we go. We got this nice thing here where we can see all the board pieces. Yay! You can see the backs of some of these. Oh, see Cloak and Dagger even have a little bit different here. The Daggers is a little lighter than Cloaks. Yeah, we got the squirrels and the Ms. Marvel. And we have the tokens that go with our board here. +1, a couple +2s, and the balloons, the XL Slurpee, and Zazoom. Zazoom is look at the top 3 cards of any deck, put them back in any order. This is XL Slushy, which is recover 3 health, and Helium Balloons, move 2 spaces, gain an action. So that's what the tokens do here. The XL Slushy is going to be the really strong one on here. This is going to be the one that's going to be your powerful one on here. I don't know if it's going to be quite as broken as the is the one on the other one that lets them, I think the map that lets you recur a card. It's not going to be quite as crazy as that, but it will still do a lot. Let's take a look at the Navy Pier. And the thing with the Navy Pier here is that this is not meant to be something from Marvel. This is just like, yeah, where would these people like to hang out at? And they're like, well, why not the Navy Pier? So we'll see, this is going to be, for the most part, a pretty straightforward layout on it, although we do have the one spot here on top of the Ferris wheel, which like goes over the others. And there's a token up there. I don't know. Be weird to figure out why a parking meter or a trash can lid would be on top of the Ferris wheel, but you know, hey, don't think about it too much, guys. But anyway, but we got that. Otherwise, it's a pretty straightforward map, aside from the tokens that we talked about, where you can play when you're on the space with the token, because that's the way that they work there. Now on the back, it's the same map. We just get to see a little bit more of the artwork with the rings. I always like playing with the circles versus the rings, but the rings are nice to have. I like, if you look here, you can see that the Ferris wheel actually goes over the line there, because that line is going under it there. It's neat. We haven't had one of these like crossing over ones like this in a while, like we have on like Soho and the Bronze. So it's nice to have those there, even though it is just one. And basically is essentially just like a loop running that way. That's one tri-zone space up top, which is interesting. One starts here in the green, the two's over there, 3 in this, and the 4 over there. All right, well, let's get to what y'all are wanting to see. Y'all are wanting to see some of this stuff, right? You want to see these pieces for putting the dials together. Nah, you don't want to see those. We get those to you in a little bit. Well, let's look at some of these minis here. Let's look at Squirrel Girl. Okay, Squirrel Girl is, she got a squirrel that she's holding. She's like jumping on her tail. It's going well. Oh, wait, hold on a second here. I got someone in. Baked Goods will be happy about this. Let me get her in. You here? Where you at? Kitty? My cat was screaming like she wanted to come in, and I was like, oh, I'll let her in and get her back on the camera. But no, and she's like, nope, I want to stay out. And I'm like, well, what's up with that? All right, so anyway, back to this. Hey, back to this mini here. We can see that she got the big tail, and she's like bouncing in the air. All right, awesome mini there for her. Look at Ms. Marvel. We got this here. Yeah, I know, right? She's like screaming at the door, and then she's like, nope, I don't want in. Like, what? Interrupting me in the middle of a stream. All right, so Ms. Marvel, we can see she's got like the big giant fist there, since she can, like, you know, embiggen her hands and stuff. We got the stuff on the ground. Like a purse and a slushie, and I don't know. Oh, I keep dropping things. But yeah, it's a nice looking one. And then we'll get with Cloak and Dagger here. Here we'll have Dagger. You know, she's got one of the light dagger things, the ponytail. She's pretty simple mini there for her. Now, Dagger, I'm really digging what they're doing, or with Cloak rather, kind of digging what they're doing with Cloak here, because they kind of got like a little bit of what they did with Invisible Man, having part of Cloak not there since he's the teleporter. It does make me think of Makes me think of Invisible Man's Many. So this is really pretty awesome there. I do like that. Got a little bit of the hand there. But it's like, yeah, it's like he's in the middle of teleporting. It is pretty awesome. That's a great mini there. Let's go ahead and get all these put back where they go. And of course, Squirrel Girl has these little things here, which these are obviously, as you can see, comparing two things, are smaller than your standard sidekick tokens since they are small fighters. They're a little bit smaller. You can feel the print on them really well. But yeah. And one of them. There we go. We got one that's a little different than the others. Yeah, you see that one's got like the little ribbon on it, and this one doesn't. Because that one's Tippy Toe. So Tippy Toe's a little different than the others. So you got one that's different than the others. Makes no difference in playing the game, but it's just a nice thing that they gave Tippy Toe her own little separate little mini there, or her own separate token. Make her a little bit different than the others. We'll put these in here for now. Though I think normally they got a spot up here they would normally live. Well, let's see. While we're at it, let's go ahead and open up Squirrel Girl first here. The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. Okay, somewhere here this opens up on the side here, I think. I always fight to open these things. Oh, there we go. There we go. Next thing I'll be doing is putting these in sleeves. I got some new sleeves for them. Excited to try Squirrel Girl out, Justin. Well, yes. Squirrel Girl is going to be a lot of fun. I don't know that she will be the strongest of them out of there. I think from what I've seen of them, Ms. Marvel's probably going to be your strongest. Cloak and Dagger are going to be the ones that are going to be the most, take the most work to be able to do stuff with them, because they are really going to be interesting. And Ms. Marvel's probably going to be like your strong one out of the box. All right, Squirrel Girl. We saw those earlier, but there's her card back again. So Squirrel Girl, her card is Go Nuts. At the start of your turn, summon a squirrel in a space adjacent to Squirrel Girl. This is where you go with what this says over the rule book. You can just summon squirrels in adjacent spaces. They don't have to be empty. Like I said, they copied a little bit too closely out of Wukong's instruction book there. Squirrels are small fighters. Do not start with any squirrels on the board. Look at this supply of squirrels here, like 8. Oh man, okay. Here we go. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to start on this side. Okay, Bite of Steel. This is a squirrel one. During combat, if there are 4 or more squirrels in the opposing fighter's zone, divided this card is 5 instead. Okay, so if they can get several squirrels in the zone, that could go up to a 5. Much improved over the Bite of Plush. Yeah, so you're going to see that a lot of these cards are going to have little goofy things here on the bottom, both for Ms. Marvel and Squirrel Girl. Cloak and Dagger don't do that, but they tend to be the more serious of the lot here. Call of the Mild. Again, some great art on it. Call of the Mild. That there are 4 more squirrels in your fighter's zone. This card is 4 instead. So yeah, getting squirrels in the zone, a big deal. Dash. We've seen Dash. Quicksilver, more like Slow Silver. Eat Nuts. This pairs up with another card name. Squirrel Girl recovers 2 health. Summon a squirrel in a space adjacent to Squirrel Girl. This is a normal side effect of eating nuts. Faint, not for the faint of heart. Fuzzball Special. Move each squirrel up to 3 spaces. Anyone else doing this is copying from me. And this name has been used for other by some other characters for some different stuff. Get them, Tippy-toe. So 2 squirrels in any space. Getting a lot of this orange and green horde of squirrels. I like how this dude's just like, the squirrels! The squirrels! Turn back! Turn back! There we go. Kick butts. That's right, because we're going to eat nuts and kick butts. Increase the value of this card by +1 for each squirrel adjacent to the opposing fighter. Remember, on their space is adjacent, so you could get all the squirrels around somebody. But you also got to remember, oh, wow, this is embarrassing. I got to take a phone call here. Hopefully this will be. All right, we're back. Network of spies. Look, this is like the meme here. They're like, look at what is going on here, editor. Oh, it's a one-off. Huh. Like an opponent's hand to choose 1 card for them to discard. If one of their fighters is adjacent to 4 more squirrels, choose 2 cards instead. Squirrel agility. Move squirrel girl up to 3 spaces. And she can move through sidekicks. Do not count movement. Do not count movement for spaces containing sidekicks. Think about laying a bunch of these out and hopping around them. She can move some spaces. Squirmish. Yes, it's a real word. What? It's absolutely a word. Summon a squirrel and squirrel girl spaced and place squirrel girl in any space in her zone. And unbeatable squirrel girl. If there are 4 or more squirrels adjacent to the opposing fighter, cancel all effects on your opponent's card and ignore its value. And it's a 4. So you could pretty much like stop anything with this, or just, if you can get 4 squirrels adjacent to someone, you can just throw this down there. And all they could do to like stop the 4 damage would be to throw a feint. And this is going to do 2 damage over a feint. So, that's going to be pretty good. Squirrel girl. Well, while we're here dealing with the less serious ones, let's get with this. All right, we're trying to think this side has it there because I see a little. There we go. Hey, I got that one, guys. I'm not fighting. I'm not scratching this up like I did one of my other cards. Oh no. Oh no. Come back. 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 Okay. Ms. Marvel. Her ability is named Stretchy. Start of your turn, you may move Ms. Marvel 1 space. We saw with Moon Knight how much movement right at the beginning of your turn, how awesome that can be. But we're also seeing Ms. Marvel can attack from 2 spaces away, ignoring zones. So it's basically going to kind of be like the T-Rex. So, Ms. Marvel can like start somewhere and then move and then hit 2 spaces away. So she could cover a lot of ground and really damage a lot very quickly. Oh, let's put Squirrel Girl card back. Squirrel Girl. Ms. Marvel. The big wind up. Ms. Marvel shares no zones with the opposing fighter. You may boost this card. So that's something that she can do. Got a lot of cards that care about sharing those zones. And if you can get in the right spots, you can find ways to, get into get to where you're not in the same zone with them. Easy peasy. Draw a card. If you have 4 more cards in your hand, deal 1 damage to an adjacent fighter. Embiggen. If Ms. Marvel's in more zones than the opposing fighter, the value of this card is 6 instead. Feint. Scatter 3 feints. Look at her feint art there. It's like Yeah, the big, yeah. Crazy Ms. Marvel stuff. Fangirl, the value of this card is equal to the number of cards in your hand. So, yeah. Hello there, maneuverman. Glad to see you in here. Yeah, I usually do one of these whenever I get the set, and I knew it was coming in today from the tracking notifications, so I was pretty much ready to do this. Yeah, this is another one that's going to care about her hand size. So positioning as far as how many zones she is in versus the opponent, and hand size are things that she cares about. Friends and family, this is a one-off. Draw 2 cards. Then you may spend an additional action to draw until you have 7 cards in your hand. It's a one-off that could like give you a ton of cards in hand. It's going to take you 2 actions to do it. Gyro and is it Gyro? Gyro and fries? I don't know. I think it's Gyro. I'm going with Gyro. Recover 2 health. Then if you have 4 more cards in your hand, gain an action. So having cards in hand, it's a big deal. Gotta remember that this goes into effect after you play it. So you play this. If you had 4 and you play this, well, now you only have 3 in your hand. So, you got to start with 5. I'm not touching you. If Miss Marvel Space shares no zones with the opposing fighter, draw 2 cards. Once again, cares about that. Momentous shift. We get some more great momentous shift art there. Shrink, shrink, shrink. Choose one of the effect. Oh, these are the cards that let you choose. If Miss Marvel shares no zones with the opposing fighter, do both. Once again, it's one that cares about both. They discard, or you can move your fighter up to 3 spaces. Slingshot. Place Miss Marvel in any spot. I like how she's like grabbing those and like out of there. So we can see what's going on. But these are pretty good. Stretchy is going to be potentially quite a good ability, being able to move and then to attack 2 spaces away, especially with those ones that need her to like not be in the same zone. There's some maps where it can be hard to be adjacent without being in the same zone, but that, being able to attack 2 spaces away helps it out a lot. All right, well, we got our Cloak and Dagger. And interestingly, Cloak and Dagger each have their own ability, essentially, because they have you have Umbra and Refraction. Umbra, I think, has to do with like that dark part of the night, I believe, which is kind of goes along with Cloak. I know that because some other thing used Umbra. An interesting one here is that they both have 8 health. So that's kind of like the Raptors, that they're both fairly low individually. Umbra, which is going to be Cloak's ability. After you attack, if Cloak dealt at least 2 damage, your opponent discards 1 card. Refraction, after you attack, if Dagger dealt at least 2 damage, gain 1 action. What this means is that Cloak can sit around. If he can damage you, he can just start running you out of cards. And Dagger, if she's ever able to get 2 damage into you when she has a bunch of cards in hand, yeah, if she can run you out of defenses, I mean, she can just keep gaining actions and like do her best Bruce Lee impersonation, which is going to be a lot meaner than Bruce Lee, because she's going to hit a lot harder on all of those. And we'll see in here. Let me go ahead and pull these out here. We've got Cloak's cards. Dagger has her cards. That they each only have like a... I've actually seen this deck before. I've played Cloak and Dagger at this point. So I've seen these. They each only have 2 cards each, although there are some other cards in there that are better played by one than the other. Cloak's card is Dark Force Dimension. Place the opposing fighter in any space. Your opponent discards a card. Discard a card from the card effect. If he manages to win with that, you would end up discarding 2, because you would discard 1 because of Umbra. So that would be pretty nasty. Light Force Barrage. This is a attack of 7, but as we have seen with Wukong, that printed 7s are going to come with some nasty effects. Whenever you see like this card's effects cannot be canceled, it means it's something good for the person that this is being played into, or your Beowulf, because Beowulf's got that one stupid card that can't be canceled for like no reason. But if you win the combat, your fighter takes damage equal to the amount of damage you dealt. And when you're a fighter that only has 8 health to start with, doing that health trade there is that's a rough thing. So you need to be ready. And you want to play this into some sort of good defense. I mean, unless it's like your killer shot at the end, because you can do the whole if you kill yourself and you kill them, you end up winning because it was your turn. But yeah, otherwise you better be finishing them off or them blocking a lot of it, one or the other. Don't see this card being played very early. Channel the Dark. This is another one that's better for Cloak. If Cloak played this card, place the opposing fighter adjacent to Dagger and gain 1 action. So you can like send Cloak in, have him teleport the opposing fighter over by Dagger, and then gain an action where Dagger can start doing stuff. Usually aren't going to win with a 2, so you usually don't get the discard off of it. Chosen Fate. Got 2 of these. This one sounds weird, but basically it's deal up to 4 damage to one of your fighters. Your other fighter recovers that amount of health. Draw 2 cards. It basically allows you to just shift damage over from one to another. Like if you got one sitting at 7 and one sitting at 1 health, you might want to take 3 off of the 1 and put them at 4, and then move your other one to 4, so that you're not that one won't be so likely to die. Commanding Impact. Got this nice, very kind of commanding impact thing going on there. Still got the streaks in it from the other commanding impacts. They've managed to keep the commanding impacts looking very, very, very consistent on the artwork. Feint, which you can see Dagger in there, but she's got Cloak behind her, so it's still like both of them doing it, which is kind of awesome. Into Darkness. Yeah. Let me see. And I remember Baked Goods was having trouble doing this, so we'll see if I can do any better. It's this one that goes over there. There we go. Yeah, there we go. See, did they say you can tell if an artist is good by how well they can do hands? Heather does a lot of hands in this, so she's apparently pretty good. She's one of the fighters and moved them up to 3 spaces. Into the Void. You may boost this attack. See, that could be a good one, just if you want to make them have to discard or gain an action. Living Shadow. This is one here. If Dagger played this card, she swaps spaces with Cloak. Cloak is now the defender, and this value of this card is a 4 instead. So yeah, this is like a blank 2 if Cloak defends with it. So kind of want Dagger doing that one. That's like her card that's better played by her. Perfect Balance. If Cloak and Dagger are both adjacent to the opposing fighter, the value of this card is 6 instead. So that can be huge. The Living Light. Cloak played this card to defend. Dagger recovers 2 health. If Dagger played this card to attack, Cloak recovers 2 health. This very much makes me think of Duality of Man from Jekyll and Hyde. I like seeing that type of thing there. That if it's your defensive one playing it, it's you get an effect, and if your offensive one plays it to attack, you get the effect. And Traverse the Dark Force. Move each of your fighters up to 2 spaces. So anyway, we can see what's going on with the set here. that I think we've got an interesting looking set. Like I said, I think Squirrel Girl is going to be fun and just kind of crazy. I don't know how practical all of the squirrels are going to be, because that's going to be kind of a nutty thing. Nutty things, because it's nutty, because they're, you know, squirrels and they're like nuts. That's why I said nutty. Oh man, let's see here. Oh, I'll get this. Put these together. Okay, let's go get our, where'd our thing go? Did I knock it off the table again? Oh, yep, I did. It fell off the table. All right, I knew that was here somewhere. Tokens. All the tokens. I'm gonna go ahead and we'll get these here. Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl. Gonna be orange on the back. There we go. Squirrel Girl. Let me get Ms. Marvel. And we have Cloak and Dagger. We'll do cloaks. You can tell these are a little bit smaller ones. It's kind of like the Raptors. These are a little bit smaller. They look kind of like sidekick wheels. We don't have any single health sidekicks. It's one thing about the Marvel sets, you don't have a whole lot of sidekicks. And Daggers has more of a lighter color on the inside of it so that they don't look quite as looks a little different from Cloaks, that one. There we go. Cloak and Dagger. Put you there. Put the Squirrel Girl there. She'll have all these squirrels. All these squirrels. And then the only other thing I'll have to do is to get these guys sleeved. I never want to throw these out, but I don't know what to do with them either, because I mean, it's got like all the other stuff in it there. And well, they put so much into like doing all these, because most places they just print just a little bit around it, but they like do the whole thing. It's really nice. You've got like other artwork. I don't know what to do with them. I go in there. I'm not gonna end up keeping that because I'll lose it, and then these guys will get put up somewhere. All right, well, this is going to be the end of this video here. We got through the whole deck here, got to take a look at all this. Hopefully we get to see these fighters. I'll have some stuff coming up here in a bit for them. Once I get a few more plays through all of them and get a little bit of an idea how they work, I'm going to make a my regular videos for them, for these three. So we'll get those in there. And yep, so that's all there, guys. We will see you around later.